Silverstar here, and today I am bringing you the weekly review for One Piece. And as I said last week, the episode of One Piece, which is a filler arc, which was said it was going to be about 2 or 3 episodes, and it is most likely going to be finished next week, was actually pretty good. And normally, like I was saying, filler episodes are normally regarded as boring, bad animation, etc. But last week's episode, as I was saying, was probably the best filler episode I have seen in quite a while. And in this time, I sadly gotta say that it got downhill. I'm not really sure why this happens. It may be the animation studio doesn't really want to spend that much on the animation. I thought the story was kinda alright. The problem with this episode for me was, first of all, the animation wasn't as good as the previous episode, and also the motivations, the pace of the episode was not so good. And by this, for example, when Grunt was fighting Luffy and pretty much everyone was fighting everyone, there was always like this time they would wait for something. Like they would all gather together and Grunt and Bonham and Seppa would start making some different remarks between each other instead of just going into the fight. And most of the conversations they had were not so good. So sadly, yes, I was expecting something a lot better in this episode. I didn't really rank the previous episode to this one. I was going to give it like maybe a 9.5 out of 10, the previous episode, but this one sadly is around a 6.5, maybe 7. And the reason for that, like I was saying, the animations when they were battling was not well done. Also, well, of course we know Luffy is far stronger than them, but for example, Grunt, he is supposed to be one of Kusan's previous, in this case, students, his pupil basically, along with the other 2. And it was very interesting, for example, to watch Bonham fight using the 6 paths of the Rokushiki. That was pretty interesting, although of course we know that the Strawhats have a ton of experience dealing with those guys. So yeah, it was not a surprise seeing Luffy just disregarding that guy, trying to get more food. Also, the Seppa guy, well, for some reason he is quite resisting to the Electro from Carrot. I really don't know why that is, but okay, I guess it was just like for a comedic purpose. And finally, Grunt. In this case, the thing that really got me off everything in this episode was that on the previous episode we saw that Grunt was very good with his steam punch. In this episode he only used a couple swords. So what's this about? Seriously, why would they show us this steam hand or glove or whatever you want to call it, like a bracelet for steam, which gives him quite a lot of power? And then when he's about to fight Luffy, he doesn't even use that. Is that because he knows that those kind of blows don't really damage Luffy because he is made of rubber, and instead of that he's trying to use swords? Yeah, I really don't know about this. And yeah, it was pretty obvious that Luffy, even Choppa, was able to not beat, but he was able to land a pretty good hit against that guy, using the guard point, using the heavy point, using the Kung Fu point, I believe. I don't really remember. But yeah, that is going to be the review for this episode. I am going to give it a 7 out of 10 just because of the issues with the animation, the pacing. Most of the jokes didn't land at all. And yeah, it was a little bit of a disappointment. Hopefully it will step up a little bit now. And to be honest, I was expecting these 3 rookies to be a little bit stronger than they were. If I were trying to compare them to other characters of this series, I know that Sanji and Sora would easily beat them all. like 1 versus 3, they would easily beat them all. Because, well, we know Luffy wasn't even trying. And so I would say they are pretty much on the level of Chopper without the monster point. Because if Chopper were to use the monster point, he would wreck them all easily. So yeah, at tops I would say they are on Frankie's level, most likely. Anyways, but I hope you have a good day. I will be uploading more videos now. I finally have the time, a little bit more of an experience for that, and I hope to see you more often and to be able to increase the viewership and the different content that I am going to be uploading. So I will be making some tests, some things that I think are going to be cool for the channel, and I will let you know in a few days. Well, thank you. I love you, subscribers, and have a nice day. Bye bye.